In the last session, we have discussed about capital structure and the basic things we have discussed in the class. Today, we will discuss capital structure theories in detail, and yeah, we have covered so I again remember the basic formulas and basic concepts of capital structure theory. So KI, cost of debt, KI, cost of debt, equal interest payment, annual interest payment on debt over market value of debt. In simple form, we call interest over loan, interest over debt. And the second formula to calculate cost of equity capital, simply earnings available to common shareholders and divided by equity shares, market value of equity shares. This is cost of equity formula, earning over uh, market value of share capital. And then overall cost. Overall mean the total capital, total cost of capital, KO. Overall capital means uh, equity capital plus long-term capital, equity capital plus debt capital, both. So overall cost of capital equal net operating profit. Look here, we use the term here is net operating income. Net operating income divided by total market value of the firm. We know that the total market value of the firm equal equity shares, sorry, equity shares plus debt. Equity shares mean equity plus debt equal total market value of the firm. Here V mean total market value of the firm equal debt capital plus share capital. And O, overall cost of equity, sorry, overall profit, net operating profit. Net operating profit equal O. It means interest expenses plus earning available to common shareholders. So net operating income equal interest paid plus earning available to common shareholders. And capitalization rate. Now we look into how do we calculate overall cost of capital. So it is called capitalization rate. Capitalization rate, KO, is the discount rate used to determine the present value of a stream of expected cash flows. So this rate we normally use in calculation of net present value of any investments. Yeah, KI cost of. So first we have to identify what is cost of debt. Then we have to multiply the proportion of debt over total capital. So D means total value of debt divided by value of the firm. Value of the firm equal debt plus share capital plus cost of equity, KE, and share capital over value of the firm. Value of the firm. So this is weighted KO, we can say in other words called weighted average cost of capital. So the cost of interest, sorry, cost of debt and cost of equity is weighted through this formula. So debt over uh, market value, here share capital over market value. So these are the weight in the bracket. It's a weight equal to weight W. So the question is, what happened to cost of debt, cost of equity, and overall cost of capital when leverage increases? Leverage mean here debt over share capital. Sometimes people indicate debt over total value of the firm. Right. Net operating income approach. So there are theories. Right? There are theories. So there are so we can observe in finance literature the mainly four capital structure theories. So net operating income approach, that's what we are going to discuss in detail. Net operating income, net operating income approach, NOI approach. So to discuss about this theory, we have to understand what is net operating income and what's the cost of debt, what is cost of equity, and what is overall cost of capital, and what is value of the firm. And traditional approach and net income approach, net income, right? We are not talking about net operating income. Here we have to consider only net income approach. And hypothesis without corporate tax. So this is Miller and Modigliani theory, proposition 1. And Miller's hypothesis with corporate and personal tax. So Miller's and theory with corporate tax. This is called theory, proposition 2. And with personal tax, personal and corporate tax, it's called proposition 3. Then finally, trade-off theory of capital structure. So cost and benefits leverage of cost and benefit of leverage. So that sort of things in the. So this is net income approach. We will discuss it later. And this is traditional approach. Yeah, this is net operating approach, right? According to net operating income approach, the value of the firm, according to the net operating approach, the value of the firm and the weighted average cost of capitals are independent of the firm's capital structure, right? So this theory says even though you make any changes in capital structure, it will not impact on weighted average cost of capital, and therefore it has no impact on its value of the firm. In the absence of taxes, an individual holding all the debt and equity securities will receive the same cash flow regardless of the capital structure, and therefore value of company is the same. So capital structure is not a matter. So before understand this net operating approach, we discuss on the traditional things. Yes, first we'll discuss net income approach. Net income approach. Here you can observe here cost of capital. Cost of capital means for KD. KD mean what? KD means what? Anyone? Here the term KD equal what? Isuru. So what is the? You can switch on the mic and you can tell. Cost of debt. Good. Cost of debt. And KE is cost of equity. KE cost of equity. KO overall cost of capital. Here you can observe this x-axis. Here a degree of leverage. Degree of leverage mean first we will understand what is the term leverage. So leverage mean, so assume that there are two companies. There are two companies. So I will explain through an Excel example. Assume that there are two companies, company A and company B, right? So capital structure, so equity. equity of Mr. A, company A, is 80%, and B is 100% equity capital, and a debt capital is 20%, and here 0%, and for total, right? Okay. So when we look at, can you see the Excel screen? Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then when you look at company A, it has two components: equity as well as debt capital. Equity capital and debt capital. So this kind of company is called levered company. Levered company, right? Levered company, levered firm. Levered firm, right? Levered firm, right? It has both debt and equity, right? This company, does it have any debt capital in this capital structure? Is there any debt capital in company B? Are there any debt component? No. So this company is called unlevered firm. Unlevered firm, right? So when the debt component included in the company, that company is called levered firm. If 100% equity company is called unlevered firm, right? We take company C, right? Here the equity capital is 40%, and debt capital is equal to 60%. Then the company C is levered firm or unlevered firm? Company C, levered is a levered firm. Company C is a levered firm because it has both type of capital. And company D, right? Company D, it's 20% 20% equity and 80% debt. So is that levered or unlevered? D. D company levered or unlevered firm? D. So levered or unlevered? It's a levered firm, right? And when we compare company C and D, which company is high levered firm? C or D? High levered firm, highly leveraged firm. Company D, because it has more debt capital. More debt capital. Take company E, 0% equity and 100% debt. 100% debt. So company E, totally levered firm. It's a totally perfectly levered firm. So in the real world, we can't observe this kind of companies. Company E, totally levered firm, 100% debt, 0% equity. We can't find. So here, when we compare company C and D, so D company is highly levered firm. When we compare A and D, company A and D, so which is highly levered firm? High levered firm is what? A or D? Which is high levered firm? A and D. So A and C. So when we compare A and C, which is highly levered firm? Yes. Now we have understood what is leverage, right? Leverage. Right. What is leverage? So now we move to the slide. Right. Here, the x-axis. Look at x-axis. Look at x-axis here. D over V. D over V. D means debt capital. divided by value of the firm. Value of the firm equal D plus E. D plus E. Here, so at 0, at this point, it's levered form or unlevered form? 0, the capital structure. Say here, this point, it's mean 100%, 100% what? Equity or debt? Here, 0. 100% equity or debt? Degree of leverage. Leverage means leverage is equal to 0. So this point is what? 100% equity. It's mean levered form or unlevered form? Unlevered form. Good. Unlevered form. When the point move through this line, it mean what? So one means what? Here one means so totally debt capital, totally levered form at this point, at point 0, at point 1, right? Total debt equal to total value of the firm. It's mean what? Totally levered form here, right? When the point move along to the x-axis, the value of debt in the capital structure has increases, right? Increases, right? Have you understood that point? Have you understood? Have you understood this point? So when they increase the debt capital in their capital mix, then they'll will be move here, there, right? It will move along this line. And see in the here, see here, cost of capital, cost of capital. What is here? So we can observe there are two kind of cost. What are the cost? We can observe three kind of cost. What are those? Cost of equity, then cost of equity. Please respond. Debt equity and over, yes, debt equity and overall cost of equity, right? And right, so this line 0.5 is mean what? 0.5 is cost of debt. 0.10, 0.1, here this one is what? Right, now here, right, so you understand this, what means here, this is straight line, no? So horizontal line, cost of debt, it never change. Cost of debt line is never changed. When the company increases the level of debt in the capital structure, the cost of debt is never changed, isn't it? Have you understood that thing, that point? Cost of debt is never changes. Have you agree or not? Have you agree or not? Yes. Then when you look at here, cost of equity, the cost of equity also never change. Cost of equity also never change, right? So when you you compare Cost of equity and cost of debt. Cost of equity and cost of debt. Which is higher one? Which is higher cost? Equity or debt capital? Which one is costly? Equity capital. Are you all agree? Equity has higher cost. Are you all agree? Equity has higher cost than debt capital. Are you all agree? Yes. Now we will go to the calculation. What the theory says, net income theory says, the net income approach theory says, when the company increases the debt capital in the capital structure, when they increase the debt capital in the capital structure, the company can reduce overall cost of capital. Overall cost of capital. See, right? Take a company. Take a company. So this company doesn't have any debt capital, right? So before that, I will explain how we calculate overall cost of capital, right? Right. Here cost of equity equal 15%. It's 10%, no? 10%, and cost of debt equal 5%. First, we will take point A, right? B. Here, right? And right here, we take this point. We take first. We take this point. This is totally unlevered form. Totally unlevered form. So this means equity is again. I will put another 2 lines. Right. Equity is 100%. Debt equal 0%. So what is the cost of overall cost of capital? KO. Anyone can tell the answer? Equity is 100%, right? Equity is 100%. Their debt is 0. What is the overall cost of capital? So you can use this formula. Yes, you can use this formula. So overall cost of capital equal cost of debt, right? Cost of, we know cost of debt is what? Anybody can calculate what is the cost of KO? D is 100%. Right. I will calculate, right? Here cost of equity is 0.1. Cost of equity is 0.1 into 100% plus 100% plus cost of debt equal 5%, 0.05 into 0% of 0% weight. Then what's the answer? KO equal what? KO equal 10%. I agree or not? Do you agree or not? Please respond. Then only we can go to the next step. Do you agree or not? Do you agree on this answer? Have you get the answer? 10%. How do we get the answer here? Right. Then we take 80% here and 20% here. So what he answer is what? Answer? Can you post the answer? Answer, anybody, please post the answer. Cost of equity 10% is not never change. Cost of debt 5% never change. We have to find overall cost of capital. When the point A where 100% equity. Say for example, here 100 million, so total capital, right? 100 million, 100 million equity and 0 million debt, right? So this example, 80 million equity and 20 million debt. So what is the right? So what's the answer? So here 60 million equity and 40 million debt. Here 40 million equity and 60 million debt, and 20 million equity and 80 million debt, and here 0 million equity and 100 million debt. Point F. So when you calculate capital structure, right, see, when you apply this formula, you can find KI here, debt at this point, KI equal 5% into the debt. How much debt here? 0, right? Debt 0 and over 100 plus KE, that is 10% into share capital is 100% over total value. So this is how we have identified this answer. So how much this value? Any answers, please? 9%. Have you got 9%? Others? How we got 9% here? Equal 80% into 10% plus 20% into 5%, right? Others, this one, what is the structure here? Capital structure is 60% to 40%. So what is the answer here? At point C, please post the answer. Please post the answer. Right, 8%. Right. Right. right? And this answer, point D, what is the answer? Point D, right? Point D, here it's 40, here it's 60. Yes, 7%. Yes. Here 20%, here 80%. Then here and here 0% equity and 100% debt. Right, here 6 and here 0, right? Have you got the answer? Are you all agree on this calculation? Are you all agree? Have you understood the formula, these answers, the way of getting the answer? Have you, all of you, have got it? Right, now we move to the theory, right? Here you observe here, when, so at this point equity is high, in total equity, point A. At point F, equity equal how much? Percentage of equity, point F. You can unmute your mic and you can tell the answer. Sometimes you may face difficulty in chatting. Right? So when you look at point A, is 100% equity, therefore there is no debt capital. Then the overall cost of capital equal to what? Equal to what? This 10% equal to what? KO equal to, what's the answer? KE, right? Answer is KE. Here this 10%, here 10%. And when we include more debt, when we increase debt into the capital structure, earlier there is no debt, then overall cost of capital 10. Now we include 20 million debt. Now capital structure is 9. KO is 9. When we increase 40% debt in our capital structure, then our overall cost of capital reduced to 8. Likewise, at point E, we have only 20 million equity and 80% debt. Then our KO equal 6%. Finally, at point F, we have no equity, 100% debt. Then its KO becomes 5%. This 5% equal to what? This 5% equal to what? Post the answer, please. From your answer, I can understand your level of understanding. Yes, KD. Right? KD. Okay, good. Now we go to the graph. Here, at this point, it is 100% equity, unlevered firm. So KO equal what? The KO equal what? KO equal to cost of equity. Cost of equity, right? At this point, 100% debt. So then KO equal what? KO equal to KD. And also, when we increase the debt capital into a capital structure, what happened to our overall cost of capital? What happened? Decreases, right? So that's what it says. So the theory says, when a company includes more debt into the capital structure, companies can reduce the overall cost of capital. Right? So what is the best? According to this theory, having debt is good or bad? Having more debt is good or bad? According to this theory. Right. Right. Albert says it is very bad, right? Okay. Now I will explain. So why do we need to reduce overall cost of capital, right? Why company need to reduce overall cost of capital? To understand this, we have to go back to how to find the value of a firm. Value of the firm, right? How do we calculate value of the firm? Right. This is the formula. This is the formula to calculate value of the firm. Value of the firm. So operating profit divided by overall cost of capital. Right. Right. How to calculate value of the firm? Operating profit divided by overall cost of capital. Right. Now we go back to Excel sheet. Right. Assume that both these are the companies, right? All these are different companies, 5 different companies. 5 different companies. Right? All are 5 different companies. Here, assume that profit, operating profit, okay, profit, net profit equal 100,000 rupees, 100,000, right? Operating profit equal 100,000 for all companies. Now we will find value of the firm. Value of firm, right? Value of firm. How do we calculate value of the firm? How do we calculate profit? Right? Value of the firm equal net profit divided by overall cost of capital. Right? Value of the firm equal net profit divided by overall cost of capital. Equal what? How much? How much here? How much value of the firm? Value of A how much? Value of A how much? Please post the answer. Value of the firm how much? How do we calculate? Net profit divided by overall cost of capital. How much? Value of the firm? 1 million, right? For company B, how much? Has increases, increase, right? Right. So what do you observe? When overall cost of capital reduces, what happened to value of firm? What happens to value of the firm? What do you observe? Increases. Value of the firm increases. So what is the ultimate objective of the firm? Need to value of the firm, we need to optimize the value of the firm or not, or reduce the value of the firm. So good company have to increase or reduce the firm value of the firm. Have to increase. So this increase arises due to what? Here the value of the firm is determined by two things. The first thing is net profit. right? First thing is net profit. Second thing is cost of capital, overall cost of capital. Here we assume net profit for all 6 companies are equal. Net profits for all companies are equal, but what is going to change here? Overall cost of capital. So to increase the cost for increase in the value of the firm is due to what? What's the cause? What's the reason to increase the firm? Debt. When they include debt capital into their capital structure, they can reduce overall cost of capital. When overall cost of capital reduces, value of the firm increases. So the firm need to try to reduce or increase the cost of debt, overall cost of capital, KO, need to increase or decrease. Overall cost of capital need to increase or reduce, need to decrease. Overall cost of capital should be decreased. Then due to that, value of the firm will be increases. Value of the firm will be increases. Right? Clear? This calculation is based on net income approach. Net income approach. What the net income approach assumes? Have you all got clear idea about this theory? These calculations, forget about theory. The calculations, are you all clear? Have you got clear idea? Please respond. Okay, right. All of you are getting a clear idea on this calculations. You observe here, you can observe. So when we increase the debt portion in our capital structure, cost of debt is constant. Okay, we can assume. Is it possible keep cost of equity as constant? Is it possible? Is it possible to keep the cost of equity at same level? Does it possible? So what happened when they include more debt capital into the capital structure? The risk of the firm increase or reduces? Risk of the firm increase or decrease? When assume that you are doing a business, you are getting more and more loan from a bank or outside. This time your risk is low or high? Your risk is high. When you include more debt into the capital structure, the risk of the firm will be high. Risk of the firm will be high. It means they have it's highly levered firm. Finance leverage is high. When you include more debt in your capital structure, the finance leverage will be high. Then your risk also will be high. So when firms experiencing high risk, who are the owner of the company? Who are the owner of the company? Debt holders or equity holders? Who are the owners? Who are the owners of that company? Shareholders are the ultimate owners. Shareholders, equity shareholders are the owner of the company. So when the firms having high risk, do they expect high return or low return? They are expecting high return or low return. When an investment is risky, are you expecting low return or high return? High return. Yes. So in reality, the real thing is when companies includes more debt into the capital structure, this KE will move like this line. That is real, right? Before we go to the net operating income approach, you just read this. According to net income approach, both cost of debt and the cost of equity are independent of the capital structure. Here, it's constant; it never change. Cost of debt and cost of equity are never changed when the leverage changes. That's why it called as independent. They remain constant regardless how much debt the firm uses. As a result, the overall cost of capital declines and the firm's value increases with debt. This approach has no basis in reality. The optimum capital structure would be 100% debt financing under net income approach. Right? This theory argues what? The optimum capital structure is 100% debt. Right? Then at this point, the firm B, firm F, having totally debt capital, the financed by totally financed by debt, then they can reduce overall cost of capital. Therefore, they can maximize value of the firm. Right? The thing is, it's here at all level of equity that the cost of equity is constant, right? It's not reality. This is not a reality. So what is reality? Yes, this is the reality. This is the reality. When companies includes more debts in their capital structure, what happened to cost of equity? It also increases. The shareholders, equity shareholders, are expecting higher return. Therefore, in company's point of view, cost of equity will be increased. Are you agree or not? This argument. Are you agree or not? When companies include more debt in the capital structure, the risk of the firm will increase. Therefore, equity shareholders are also expecting higher return. Are you agree on this statement or not? If we are agree only, we can go to the next tier, net operating income approach. Right? And now we move to that theory, net operating income. So what's the behavior? When you see this slide, this picture, what's the behavior you can observe? What behavior? Here, when increase the debt capital, so there are, you can observe there are three stages. First stage, from this point to this point, what happened to KO? From this point to this point, what happened? KO increase or decrease or be constant? Increases or decreases? Decrease. So it's mean what? When company includes more debt into the capital structure, they can reduce the overall cost of capital. And what will happen to the value of the firm when they reduce the overall cost of capital? What happened to the value of the firm? Increase or reduce value of the firm? Value of the firm will be increase, right? After this point, after this point. Even after this point, the company, if company increases more debt in the capital structure, what happened to the KO? What happened? So when company move from this point to this point, what happened? KO. What happened to KO? KO increase. When KO increase, capital KO increase, what will happen to the value of the firm? When KO increases, what will happen to value of the firm? Decreases. Decrease. Yes. That's a theory. That theory is called what? Traditional approach. Here, traditional approach. The traditional approach argues that moderate degree of debt can lower the firm's overall cost of capital, thereby increase the value of the firm. Are you agree or not? So when the firm keeps the debt up to this level, they can increase the value of the firm. Are you agree or not? Moderate, not 100% debt. It's a moderate level of debt in the capital structure. Are you agree or not? Yes, right. The initial increase in the cost of equity is more than offset by the lower cost of debt. So early stage, we can't observe a much increase in debt, cost of equity. Right here, it looks straight line. But as debt increases, shareholders perceive high risk and the cost of equity rises until a point is reached at which the average of lower cost of debt is more than offset more expensive. Here, until that point, there is no much increases in cost of equity. Once they reach at the point, the cost of equity has increases at larger rate. So therefore, overall cost of capital also increases up to a certain point. Here, in this graph, you can find three stages. The first stage, increasing value of the firm. Increasing value of the firm because overall cost of capital decreases. So stage 1. Second stage, it reaches an optimum value, right? At where the value of the firm is high and overall cost of capital is low. And third stage, declining value, because the overall cost of capital increases as debt increases, therefore value of the firm also decreases, right? KO increases, therefore value of the firm reduces. Right? Have you understood this theory? Have you understood? There are three stages in that traditional approach. First is increasing the value, optimum value, and decreasing the value of the firm. Right? Are you clear? Okay. Good. Right. Now we come to the net operating income approach calculation. Right? So the question is, what happened to KD, KE, and right? Right. Net operating income approach, a theory of capital structure in which the weighted average cost of capital and total value of the firm remain constant as financial leverage is not changed. So what this theory says? What this theory says? The capital structure, whether the capital structure impact on value of the firm or not, according to this theory. Weighted average cost of capital mean KO. and total value of the firm remain constant as financial leverage is changed. So this theory argues that when we change in our capital structure, do they impact or not on the value of the firm? In simple form, whether capital structure impact on value of the firm or not. This theory says this one, a net operating income approach. Earlier we have discussed in net income approach. Second, we talk about traditional approach. The third one is net operating approach. There are three. This third theory. Okay, read this para. A theory of capital structure in which weighted average cost of capital and the total value of the firm remain constant as financial leverage is changed. My question is, financial leverage will impact the firm or not according to this theory? Please post your answer. According to this sentence, paragraph. Nobody respond. Can you hear? Can you hear me? Isuru, Pavitra, can you hear? Is mic working? Can you hear? Okay, right. So according to this theory, the capital structure changes will have no impact on the overall cost of capital and value of the firm, right? So see, assume that net operating income equal 1,350. Market value of debt 1,800 at 10% interest. Overall capitalization rate is 15. KO equal 15. KO equal 15. So I ask you to calculate value of the firm. Value of the firm. Can you calculate value of the firm? How much? Net operating profit. Operating profit divided by KO. How much? Answer. Isuru, please post the answer. How much? Value of the firm. 9,000. How do you calculate? So value of the firm equal. So the profit equal 1,350 and KO equal 15% and value of the firm equal how much? 9,000 rupees, right? 9,000 rupees, right? Right. Now, how much value of debt? Debt how much? Debt how much? Market value of debt how much? In this slide. Please post the answer. Isuru, how much? Yes, 1,800. Value of debt is 1,800. Here, market value of debt is 1,800. Interest rate is 10%. Right. 1,800. How much balance? Balance 9,000 minus 1,800. So it belongs to whom? So it belongs to debt holder. This 1,800 belongs to loan provider, say bank. Value of the firm equal what? Debt plus equity. Value of the firm equal debt plus equity. So we know debt equal 1800. Then it is equal what? Equity. Equity, right? Equity. Have you understood the calculations? Have you understood the calculations, everybody? Have you understood? Yes. Okay. Here, overall the firm 9,000. How do we calculate? 1,350 divided by 15%. Right. Market value of equity. How much market value of equity? So value is 9,000. A debt value is 1,800. Therefore, the balance is 7,200. Right. Now we find required rate of equity, KE. From this value, we will calculate KE, right? KE. How much profit? Profit how much? 1,350. It's a profit, right? Profit is 1,350, right? How much interest cost? Interest how much? Interest expenses how much? Interest expenses how much? Interest expense how much? 1,000 is a debt capital on 1,800, 10%. Therefore, as a profit minus interest. Interest is how much? 180. How much profit after interest? How much profit? Profit. So assume that there is no tax. How much net profit? Net profit how much? Net profit 1,750. Then how much value of equity? Value of equity how much? Value of equity equal 7,200. 7,200. So what is KE? KE. This profit belongs to whom? This profit 1,170 belongs to whom? To the bank or to the owner? This profit belongs to whom? To the owner or the bank, loan provider. This 1,350 belongs to both. Interest, this includes interest as well as profit. This 180 belongs to the bank. This one belongs to whom? Equity shareholders. It belongs to equity shareholders. Agree or not? It's a profit, no? It's a profit. It belongs to equity shareholder. The value of equity is 7,200. So how to calculate cost of equity? Here, cost of equity equal earning available to common shareholders divided by market value of common stock outstanding, market value, right? Here, cost of equity equal net profit belongs to common shareholders divided by market value of equity. then equal profit divided by this. Now what is cost of equity? Cost of equity how much? 16%. Cost of equity is 16%. Okay, 16.25. Are you all clear about this calculation? Are you all clear? Okay, okay. Right. Right. Here, return on equity 1,350, interest payment divided by value of equity is equal 16.25. Right. Now, the question is changed. What is the rate of return on equity if debt equal 3,000? Now, the debt equal how much? 3,000. Right. Now, it's changed. Earlier, debt equal how much? Pavitra, how much? Debt equal earlier. Earlier, debt how much? Debt capital. Nobody answer. Earlier, here, how much? 1,800. Now, the equity, the debt equal 3,000. Now, we will do the calculations. Right? Profit equal same. Right? Debt equal 3,000. Therefore, how much interest at 10%? How much interest cost? Interest is 300. Interest is 300. Net profit how much? 1,050. What's the market value of equity? Right? Total value of the firm when debt equal 3,000, total market value of the firm is 9,000. Right? How 9,000? Overall cost of capital is 15%. Therefore, market value of the firm is 9,000. Right? So 9,000 minus so earlier profit at 50. So overall cost of capital is 15%. Value of the firm is 9,000. How much value of debt is 3,000. And how much equity? Value of equity how much? Value of equity now 9,000 minus 3,000 equal 6,000. Right? Now value of the equity equal 3,000. Sorry, 6,000. Then how much cost of equity? Cost of equity 17.5. 17.5. Are you all agree? Are you all agree? Right. Are you all agree on these calculations? Okay. So you can observe when debt is then equity is 6,000. Then value of the firm earlier is 9,000. Here also 9,000. Right. Cost of equity here 15%. Earlier is 15%. Right. What will happen? We go right. 17.5. Here 17.5. Right. Now we will put a table.
Sir,
Right.
we have lectures at 10:30.
Whose lecture?
Sir, we have one such lectures at 10:30.
So what we'll do? We'll continue on Friday.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.